So here's a completed project. I'm the Frugal Gardener. Welcome back to the Homestead. I am dedicating this video to composting. We talked about this earlier, and this is my makeshift DIY compost. This is something that I really miss doing. A lot of people used to make videos about composting, and they seem to have gone away, and I think they're going to make a comeback because everything is so expensive these days. So before I go any further, for those of you who are new to the channel, I'm the Frugal Gardener. I garden in the hills of West Virginia on a 1/4 acre of land. My homestead is on 4.5 acres of land, and this is the mini-series, The Savvy Gardener. This is designed to help you guys to prepare now for the spring and summer gardening season, because a lot of this stuff you can't wait until the summer to do. You can't wait until the spring to do. This is one of those things. To compost, it's going to take you on average 3 or 4 months. And this is a small tote. I used to have larger ones. I basically do 2 at a time. If this works out, I will add another one to it. And what I mean by working out is I've been up here for going on 3 years, and I've been very reluctant to compost up here because there's been all kinds of 4-legged creatures coming through here. And this is kind of a rare situation because I'm used to seeing, like, oh man, like deers having a conference, having meetings over here. At one time, I think I counted 12 or 13, but I haven't seen not one deer in the last month. And I'm guessing it has something to do with the economy and the food prices. But at any rate, I'm not taking any precautions. This is the bungee that I have to adjust. That's going to go up here along with this wood. You get the picture. This is to keep the critters out. Also, I want to say from the start, you don't want to leave the top off of this even if you don't have any animals around, because when it rains or snows or whatever it is you get, you don't want this to get too wet, just like you don't want it to get too dry. So let me go into detail. You might stop this video. When I first started composting, I actually took notes, but it seems a little daunting at first. Trust me, it isn't. After a while, it's going to be second nature to you. What you should add, what you shouldn't add, when you should add it. It's pretty straightforward. So let's go. So you have what's called wets, and you have dries. So basically, that's browns and greens. So when I say greens, that's, wet, because it's things that are alive, but most people refer to it as browns and greens. So let's do the browns first. These are things that you can add to your compost. Pine needles, straw, sawdust, fall leaves, hay, cornstarch stalks, coffee filters, twigs, and wood ash. Also, nutshells. Now, some of these come with a caveat. Wood ash, if you add too much, it's not good. So I would keep it down to about 5 or 10% of the total of what you add in here if you're going to use wood ash. And I always tell you guys, if you're going to use wood ash, make sure you know where those ashes are coming from. You don't want old table legs, and you don't want anything that has chemicals in it. You don't want anything that's been treated. So basically, I burn my own wood from off of my homestead, so I know that it's coming from the ground and that nothing has been added to it. So that's the story with the wood ash. Coffee filters. People put coffee filters in theirs. I do, but I only use unbleached coffee filters. People use the bleached coffee filters. It's personal preference. I just feel like, I'm going to come up with the list. Well, come show you guys the list of what I am not going to put in mine. And again, this is going to be something that you guys can decide on your own. The same thing goes for the sawdust. You need to know where your sawdust is coming from. If somebody's giving you sawdust, if the wood has been treated. Now, corn stalks. The corn cobs that people put in there, I also do not use. I guess I'm getting into that list now, sort of, kind of, because they take forever to break down. I have put corn stalks, the corn cobs, in the ground when I'm planting like tomatoes or something, but I know it's going to take like 1,000 years. I'm exaggerating, but it's going to take a long time for them to break down because they're hard. So if you want to use them, you can. There's nothing wrong with it, but don't expect for them to break down anytime soon. The same thing goes with the nuts, the shells from the nuts. I have pistachio nuts, and I have been using them. I don't see them now, but I throw them in my driveway, and that gives me traction when the weather's crappy or when the ground is wet or have snow on it. So that is something that I think you should probably skip. It's a waste of time. I'm going to take a second to just show you this. I mentioned straw and hay. This is where I put my manure from my chickens, and I'm going to come back to that because we're doing the greens. So the other side of the coin is the greens. You're talking about vegetable scraps. You're talking about potato peelings, celery, lettuce, that kind of thing. You don't want to put anything that has salad dressing on it. Now, I'll go through the list. I'm tempted to tell you now what I'm not going to use or what I don't use, but I'm going to run through this list first. These are vegetable scraps, coffee grounds, fruit, plants, grass clippings, manure, cow manure, chicken manure, horse manure, sheep manure, and I already covered corn cobs, which we talked about. So now, here's the thing. This is the manure. This is from the chickens, like I said a minute ago, and you can see where there is the straw from the chicken coop. Believe it or not, this is also from the chicken coop, but this is about 8 months old. This is about 1 month old. So you can see when nature does its thing and it converts it into compost, which is ridiculous now. If you price it in the stores for a good compost, the amount of compost that I can produce from here in 3 or 4 months will cost me at least $50, $60 in the store. All these leaves around here, I haven't finished gathering them up. I showed these to you earlier, and those are going to go in here also. Now, very, very, very important. You don't want to put just anything in here willy-nilly. You want 2/3 of the browns and 1/3 of the greens. You need to have a balance. Don't try and don't stress out over this because you'll lose your mind. It does not have to be perfect. What happens is when you have that mix, the microorganisms take over, and that's what turns this into compost. So what happens is if you put too much of one or the other, you will know. You will definitely know. You will see that things aren't cooking, things aren't working. I've had compost bins where I've gone out in the middle of winter and just scratched a hole in the center, and you actually see literal steam coming out. You can put your hand in there and feel the heat. There are people who claim, which I'm skeptical, but claim that their compost piles are caught on fire, but I think that's a gross exaggeration. But you can feel the heat. Some people put worms in theirs. I think that's something else that you don't need to do. Just keep it simple. And if you have too many greens or too many browns, it's not going to break down. It's not going to break down properly. It's going to take a long time to break down. Let's put it like that. So 2/3 of the browns, 1/3 of the greens. And now to my list of things that I personally do not use, that a lot of people will tell you you can use, and it's perfectly fine, but it's a personal preference. I don't use newspapers. There are people who say you can use papers as long as they don't have ink, cardboard like pizza boxes, but that has ink in it. A lot of newspapers that have advertisements in it, and you go in a Family Dollar store, and they have those circulars, nothing but ink, yellow, red, blue. That's a no-no. Now, a lot of people will tell you if it's just black and white, that is fine. That's up to you. I want to stick with what comes out the ground. What comes out the dirt goes back into the dirt. I don't like using newspaper because it has ink, and it's probably fine, but it's just something that I choose not to do. Another no-no is meats. Meats and dairy products are a huge no-no for me. There are people that'll tell you you can put those in, but I tell you right now, when you put leftover chicken or pork or fish or whatever it is, you're going to attract every critter in the neighborhood. My goal is to keep them out of my compost pile, and I'm telling you right now, that's one way to attract them. You might as well just ring the dinner bell, because they're going to smell that. It's going to rot. And another thing you don't want to put in there are rotten plants. Let's say you grew some tomatoes, and the tomatoes had blight, had some sort of rot, had some sort of fungus on them. You don't want to put anything that has fungus, anything that has mold, all that stuff. Just leave it out. I mean, it might take you a little bit longer to get the amount of compost you want, but it's better to be safe than sorry. So no meats, no dairy, nothing that is rotten or spoiled or, has some kind of a issue with it. So those are the things that I would leave out. And people even put lint from the dryer, which, again, I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just talking about my personal preferences in terms of me having quality compost that comes out that I know is safe and it's going to grow what I need it to grow in my garden. So that's basically it. I mean, if you guys have any questions or comments, obviously, I always ask you guys to put them down in the comment section. And I have a couple other videos that I did on this, 5 or 6 years ago, maybe. And I will link to one of the earlier ones, because I have to apologize that I don't actually have anything to show you because I'm late getting started on this. But like I said, I've done this many, many times, many, many years. And I can show you by linking to the other videos. So I'm trying to think if there's anything that I forgot. Yes, watering. This does not need to be soaked. It does need to be damp, and it needs to be turned or stirred. So every couple of days, once I start getting a decent amount of material in here, I will be out here and I'm going to stir it, and I'm going to add water to it just to keep it moist. That's all you want. You want to keep it moist. You don't want to drown it. And that's how you get your compost tea down here. So when I get my compost tea, I will pour that in the jug and save it until my spring planting. And once my garden starts working for me in the spring, I'll use that compost tea. That's an extra added benefit. That's a freebie that I'm getting on top of the free compost. So if you want a garden, you don't want to spend a lot of money, now is the time to set one of these up. Everything you see here, well, not the bungees, but everything else was already here. The bins, they're all over the place. I kid you not. We must have had at least 40 bins when we moved out here. So I have a bunch of bins behind the house that I can use. And these little coffee creamer containers, you've seen them many times before. So the wood obviously is from the property. So the only thing is the bungees. I really don't have to have the bungees. If I put enough heavy wood on top of here, I think it's going to be fine. My other concern is the wind, but again, once this starts to get a load in it, it'll be fine. So browns, greens, water, and you should be good to go. So thanks for spending some time with me today. I'm the Frugal Gardener. Remember, when you grow your own food, you'll always know where it comes from. Catch you guys on the flip side. I hope you will attempt this project. You'll be glad you did, especially when you see the way the prices are going up out there. Enjoy your day, and I'll catch you in a few days.